What are you doing?
I'm getting in the zone for Fate of the Furious, of course.
Hey there, Internet Best Buddies. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Ray, and today we're going to be looking at Fate of the Furious. Which one is this now? Like the 8th movie in the franchise? So Dwayne Johnson's Hobbs is given a super secret assignment to steal an EMP device. He needs Vin Diesel's character Dom Toretto and his team in order to help. The mission is a success until Dom turns on Hobbs and takes the device for a mysterious woman named Cypher. Cypher has control over Dom for some mysterious reason and forces him on a collision course with the team that he has turned against, also known as his family. So first off, it's a really fun movie, and for diehards of the franchise, it has literally everything you could want. It has fast cars, scantily clad women, and over-the-top action. Speaking of, there is a lot of cool action throughout the film that is unfortunately shown in all of the trailers. I think except for the street race in the beginning, you see pretty much every action sequence. It's a real shame. I love the big car stunts in general, even though we did see them in the trailer, but I absolutely love the quote-unquote zombie sequence, and Charlize Theron's character also refers to it as zombies. That was actually really cool. The acting on the whole is as good as it's ever been in the franchise. Dwayne Johnson, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, they all performed great in the film. The rest of the cast does a great job as well, except for a couple. I thought Charlize Theron's character of Cypher was a pretty good villain and had a very believable motive. As believable as a motive could be in these Fast and Furious movies. The reason why Dom has turned against this team is great and probably the most believable thing about the movie. I'm saying believable a lot, I think, and maybe you'll understand why in a bit. I like the relationship that started budding between Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson's characters in the film, showing that they are pretty much almost identical, just going down opposite paths. I also really like some of the surprise returning characters, and I'm really excited to see them going forward into this new trilogy that they have planned for the series. Unfortunately, you really have to shut your brain off for this one. I've loved the franchise ever since the 4th one, but this is the most unbelievable one yet. And yes, I've seen the first one, but I've also seen Point Break, so I've seen it done better. And I skipped the 2nd and 3rd one, because why bother watching those? Johnson is basically Black Adam in this movie with how unimaginably strong he is. He rips tables out of walls and lets rubber bullets from police officers just bounce off of him like BB pellets. Don't get me wrong, fun to watch, but there's really no way that will ever happen in real life. Not that these are supposed to be real life, I understand that, guys. I can only suspend my disbelief so far. I would honestly say the biggest problem with this movie is how predictable it is. If you even have half a brain, and you don't shut it off at the door like I mentioned that you have to earlier, you'll be able to tell pretty much everything that's going to happen. There's a character whose name is revealed later on in the movie, and it makes no sense being set in this universe. It's pretty clear what they should have chosen for the name for this. And I'm trying really hard not to spoil it, because it is a central part of the movie. Also, why is everybody okay with Jason Statham's character now? Didn't he, slaughter their friend a couple movies ago and try to kill all of them? Don't get me wrong, I love seeing Jason Statham in his movies, and he's fantastic in it. And then there's Scott Eastwood. He's a good-looking guy, looks just like his dad, but his character makes literally no sense in this movie, at all. There's a scene where he breaks open a glass case in the military compound to get out all these cars that they're going to use, but he's the one that locked them up, so I don't understand why he broke them. I really feel like they're trying to shoehorn him in as the new Brian character. Please don't. For the love of God. There's also a lot of missing elements as far as the chemistry of the group goes in this movie. The acting's all good, and all the characters on their own are great, and even some of them together have good chemistry, but as a whole, it's just completely lacking. So you know the scenes in the latest Fast and Furious movies where they show a plan that's going on behind the scenes to foil the bad guy? There's one of them in here, and it's okay. But they shoehorn in some characters, and they add a character that you really wouldn't notice, and that's why they show a flashback to the character earlier in the movie. Honestly, I think I really would have liked the movie more if I didn't see any of the trailers. The trailers for this movie absolutely revealed everything. That's not true. They kept a few things hidden, but all the big set pieces they reveal in the trailer. Don't do that. Stop it. Unfortunately, a lot of the jokes fell flat. There's a scene where Statham calls Johnson Hercules, which I thought was funny, because if you didn't know, he was Hercules in a movie. And there's also a top 10 list joke of international criminals. It also doesn't help that I knew who Helen Mirren was going to be playing going into the movie. And if you know that, it takes most of the surprise out of the final act of the film. Fate of the Furious gets a 7 out of 10. It's still a fun movie, and if you like the Fast and Furious franchise up to this point, I think you're going to enjoy this one as well. I will say it is definitely a more coherent story than the last movie, but obviously the last movie suffered because they had to work around Paul Walker's tragic death. So my question for you guys this video is, what is your favorite entry in the Fast and Furious franchise? Mine would definitely be Fast 6, right? Is that what it's called? I forget the naming structure of these movies. It's the one with Luke Evans. So 5 was where they robbed the safe. That's where Hobbs was chasing them. And then Hobbs needed them in the next film to take down the terrorist. Yes, it was 6. 6 is my favorite. So I'll leave a link in the description to the Fast and Furious 7 movie collection, so that way you can speed through them all before you see this one. If you're new to the channel, why don't you go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the content that I put out. If you're a returning Internet Best Buddy, thanks for coming back. It means a lot to me. Definitely like the video and share it with a buddy. Thanks again for watching, everybody. See ya.